Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show today, guys. Got some major news from some big dogs in the government. Jim Jordan, the House Judiciary Committee chairman, has been asked by Trump and Mike Johnson to do a deep dive into Social Security and the IRS. Democrats were okay with hiring 86,000 new agents to audit the American people, but we have 40 DOJ employees who are auditing the auditors, the federal government, and they're flipping out, and more fraud has been caught. And we got all the breaking news for you right here, guys. Congress has been literally grifting the entire American taxpayer for a really long time. This week's going to be crazy, so get ready. I'm saying this, guys. There's already words that are being pushed out of potential jail time. That's how serious these matters are. So this is crazy, crazy news. It's getting so deep, they're doing a lot of reshifting even in the government when it comes to the FBI, now head by Kash Patel and our boy Bongino. We have where they are shifting 1,000 ATF agents over into the FBI. And what do they want to do? They are investigating every single facet of our spending. They're looking into money laundering. All this breaking news, guys, is coming, and I'm so thankful for it because it's accountability of your hard-earned money. We also have it where the IRS is closing. Think about this, guys. What I'm about to say, you wouldn't think is real, but it's real. The IRS is close to finalizing a data sharing agreement with U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, which is ICE, allowing immigration agents access to confidential taxpayer records to aid Trump's deportation efforts. There are non-citizens that are in the IRS system. They've been getting tax refunds, don't know how much taxes they've been paid or whatnot, but there literally has to be a deal made so that we can go in and get illegals information to deport them. So that agreement is almost done there. And no shock here, guys. DOJ has uncovered that the United States, our federal government, decided that it was okay to spend $600 million a year on funding Australian universities. Yeah, you know, the other country that's not here, it's a different country. We were giving them almost $750 million to help fund their universities and colleges. Can't make this up, guys. That's your taxpayer dollars. We got a ton of breaking news, guys, to get into today. I want to say thank you to everybody who is watching, all of our subscribers, all of our viewers. Guys, y'all are the best. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Let us take care of you every day with the top news. And thank you to all of our members of the channel. If you want to be a member, the link is in the description to join. And thank you to everybody that gives a super chat donation like Elaine Demeen. Thank you so much. I'll show Elaine some love in the chat. And just want to say thank you to everybody here, guys, that gave to our charity yesterday and last month. It is so amazing. We were able to give on stream over $2,100 to charity, guys, and it's all because of you. So show yourself some love in the chat. I already got the OGs in there, Mr. Norby, Pamela Dunbar, Deanna Scott, Grimrath, Geoff, Trina Smith, Alice Lewis. Guys, y'all are killing it. Show them some love. We got a ton of breaking news to jump into today, guys, but I'm so glad because we now have finally movement on the fraud in Congress. Check this out.
Great to see you. I'm just wondering, have you ever seen...
By the way, well said.
Thank you. Thank you. Have you ever seen what we're seeing right now from the left in your political career?
No, they've embraced crazy. I think you said it best. We're the party of common sense. They're the party of crazy. And that's why they're at a 27% approval rating right now. And you can go down that list like you were doing. It's crazy to defund the police. It's crazy not to have a border. It's crazy to blow up and firebomb Teslas. How about this judge this past week? It's crazy for an unelected judge to tell the commander-in-chief, the head of the executive branch, turn the plane around, bring back the bad guys, gang members who did terrible things, who were in this country illegally, bring the bad guys back to America. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard, but that's today's left. And if they want to keep embracing crazy, we'll keep embracing common sense, and I think we're going to win and help the country in the process.
I'm with you. I want to talk about what these judges are doing. I know freshman Texas Congressman Brandon Gill has already drawn up articles of impeachment. I know that it's a high burden for impeaching a judge. What's the mood right now on Capitol Hill when it comes to maybe impeaching one or more of these judges?
Well, I think the mood is to get the facts, have hearings, get information from experts about all this. You know, you got these federal judges, federal district judges issuing these injunctions that apply to the entire country. In fact, we passed out of our committee 2 weeks ago legislation which said if a judge does that, it should only apply to the parties in the case and in that respective jurisdiction. It shouldn't apply nationwide. We think that's a limitation on these judges and what they're doing. When it comes to Judge Boasberg, we think this is just purely political. And Chief Justice Roberts is right. He issued this statement earlier this week where he said the remedy for bad judicial decisions is the appellate courts. I get that. But when you look at Judge Boasberg, this seems so political, so out to get President Trump, this ruling, and then when you couple this ruling with his history, his work on the FISA court, allowing the warrants when they spied on President Trump's campaign clear back in 2015, 2016, I think when you put that all together, this guy may be in a special class. So we're going to start hearings maybe as early as next week into this whole area.
Wow.
But where we can make changes legislatively, we should do that. And then we should hear from the experts about, is there other things we should pursue?
Yeah, in 2009, a federal judge was impeached and removed from the bench. It's happened 4 times over the last 36 years, so it's not unprecedented. In the Senate, you'd need 67 votes to convict. So that's not going to happen. But do you expect the White House to pressure Mike Johnson to do this, particularly with Judge Boasberg? The abuse of power seems obvious.
Yeah, again, I think everything should be on the table, but I think we should have hearings where we gather information about the entire process. We should gather information about Judge Boasberg. We should do all this.
Right.
I think that's the proper approach. And then Josh Hawley's also, in the Senate side, introduced legislation that mirrors what we passed 2 weeks ago in the House Judiciary Committee. So let's get that legislation moving. Let's get that passed to President Trump so he can sign it. And we can legislatively put some limits on these judges as well. So I think all that makes sense as we move forward.
And just quickly, because I want to move on to other stuff, but is there anything you can do other than impeachment to these judges?
I think just the fact that you had the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court issue this statement, I think just the fact that you've had several now articles of impeachment introduced by my colleagues regarding certain judges and actions they've taken, I think all that, I think sends a message like, look, we're watching and we see what appears to be political moves by these district judges, and that we're going to do hearings and investigate. I think we do all of that as I said, as we move forward.
Okay, Mr. Chairman. So you're on the Oversight Committee as well. Next week, Congress is going to hold their first JFK hearings since the 1990s. JFK files have started coming out this week. I'm not satisfied. I don't think we're getting all the information. Are you satisfied with the JFK files to date?
Look, I'll wait, and I haven't reviewed them. I know we have staff looking at that on the Oversight Committee. I'll wait till we get that review done. What I do think is appropriate is what President Trump has said. Get this information to we the people. Get it to the American people. Let them evaluate it. Let them look at it. There's been questions now for, 60-some years, I guess, over 62 years.
Right.
Since this terrible event took place. So let's get the information to the people about this. We sent 7...
Guys, let me tell you this. It's taking to the next step. Like, we're moving in the right direction. And what I love is that, again, we're not going to be able to get none of this done if people aren't held accountable. And that's what we're seeing right there. Is just that they're taking the steps, they're moving forward because there's been so much fraud. There's been so much abuse of power. It is mind-blowing. Everything that I'm going to show you, and Trump's not playing around. So this is, let me zoom in so y'all can see this. President Trump, he's issuing a memorandum revoking access to classified information for Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton, Kamala Harris, and others. He's trying to make sure that nobody can get access to mess up or even alter any of the confidential information within the system. Because what I'm about to show you next, they're already moving forward in Congress. I want to say thank you to everybody who's watching. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting that thumbs up like button, thank you so much for your support. But this right here, guys, it's moving fast. People are fed up. You just saw the chairman of the House Ways and of the House Judiciary Committee. Now we're moving to the House Ways and Means Committee. Things are moving forward. Check this out.
I can hardly sit here. I was hoping to just let my Democrat colleagues sound off this morning, get through their one-act plays, but I can't. I can't sit here and listen to this grandstanding.
Dang.
They wear their armor of indignation proudly, but we know what's underneath that. And I hate to question the motives of my colleagues, but this is we have touched a nerve, Mr. Chairman.
Mm-hmm.
And we have entered the inner sanctum of the Democrats' temple. And I think that holy grail is the government and their unionized government employees. And if you get anywhere near it, this is the reaction you're going to get. My friend said they didn't vote for these things. They didn't vote for this deep cleaning in the bureaucracy. They didn't vote for the kind of rooting out of waste and fraud, but they say that with a false narrative and with fear-mongering for Medicaid beneficiaries, and they try to scare, no sir, I gotta finish this.
Ooh.
They're trying to scare our seniors and scare the most vulnerable. That's a long-standing tactic. But the American people didn't vote for transgender operas in Colombia. But where's the indignation on that? I haven't heard a single person talk about that. What about the transgender comic books and the DEI musicals in Ireland and all this absurd and insulting example after example of just complete and utter wasting the taxpayer dollar? The GAO, the Government Accountability Office, that's a government entity, so you ought to bow down to that authority as well and accept it hook, line, and sinker for their data and statement on fraud, which is up to $5 trillion over the 10-year window. $5 trillion. Where is the outrage on all of that? I've never heard it, not one time. This is, I hear about the unelected billionaires because you all love class warfare. You love to divide people by race and gender and class. That is the MO. I mean, God, I love you guys as people, but your party is broken and bankrupt, and that's why the taxpayers put this president in office and gave us unilateral, unified Republican leadership, because they want us to make sure that their tax dollars are protected,
yes,
and that they're being spent wisely, and that we act as fiduciaries, and that the people who were intended to get benefits from these programs are getting them, but not illegal immigrants and not people that are not qualified. I see the list you're holding up. Enough with the theater. Where is the outrage? Are you not insulted by this list? You want me to read this list? You want me to go through the same list of indigenous people, inclusive justice, primary literacy, female empowerment, personalized 3D avatar tools for gender identities? This is stupid. This is stupid.
Oh, did you hear that? We paid for personalized 3D rendering, whatever, for people with gender ideologies to... Guys, this is insane. I love this.
Mr. Chairman, reclaiming my time.
You got your time.
Ooh.
Where was the concern for conflicts of interest and abuse of power when the IRS leadership and the special prosecutors from the Biden DOJ were obstructing the investigation into the Hunter Biden scheme. And your president said, I don't know anything about it, never been involved. And we knew that wasn't true, and we discovered it wasn't. But where was the drive and the passion that I see from you, all my colleagues, on that issue and the transparency or lack thereof for the last 2 or 3 years? I never see this until we're talking about the tip-to-tail audit of the federal government to root out wasteful spending and act as fiduciaries on behalf of the taxpayers. It's unbelievable to me. It's unbelievable, but I think it's on such display today that the American people in their good judgment are reading right through it just like I am. And again, if you want to wander in the wilderness for 40 years, you're making a good case to do that to the American people. They're on our side on this issue. With that, Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Mr.
Guys,
Davis.
do you not love what is transpiring right now? The Democrats can't stand it. They're being caught, and I love it. Why? Because they've literally have been abusing the American trust, our money. They've been putting it on the dumbest things, just like what you're seeing here on screen, guys. The U.S. government was spending about $600 million per year funding Australian universities. Guys, this is literally another continent. Australia. Are you kidding me? Want to say thank you so much, Jenny Lynn, for the super chat. Let's go. And Lay Lewis, who said, I saw a ridiculous fraudulent spending case in that hair transplant on monkeys in Tasmania. More money than they had since. A lot more money. Yasho Lay and Jenny, some love in the chat, guys. Thank you so much for your support. But I'm telling you this. This stuff right here is ending. Common sense is taking over. Listen to this, because you know we got to bring some smackdowns sometime for our boy Scott Jennings. Check this out.
You know, the proposals that they're bringing are horrendous enough for us to do that, and we should do that.
What's horrendous about the CR? It continues funding the government at
horrendous about the CR is that it is a cut.
No.
Yes, it is.
No.
If you do not consider the cost of doing business, if you do not consider that the cost of living, for example, has gone up, that everything has gone up.
Now you're changing. It's not a cut. You're being dishonest.
It's a cut.
It's not a cut.
It's a cut.
It's continuing
A cut is a
funding the
cut is a
government at the
cut.
same levels. It's not a cut. You voted to shut down the government. You voted to lay off every veteran in the federal government. You're making a passionate plea for why Democrats didn't shut down the government. And now Chuck Schumer can't even have a book tour because Democrats are so enraged that the government was. And I'm just confused because last week I was told that people going and expressing their First Amendment rights was part of their democratic and civic duty. And now Chuck Schumer can't even have a book party with Democrats over it. That's on to decide.
I think that Democrats are in agreement with you in the sense that they probably think Chuck Schumer should,
yes,
to
exactly.
Gary's point, take the smoke.
2 weeks ago, he was attacking
Show up and take the he should show up and take the L is what I'm saying. No one's saying he can't have it, Scott. He can do whatever he chose to, but once again, another example of him deciding to hide. I would love for him to go on the book tour so that he can answer the questions of the American people. Security risk perhaps may be true, according to what Abby has said and what his office is saying.
Who would be the security risk, though?
I don't know.
Who would be the security risk?
Wait a minute. The book is about.
Who is the risk?
Scott,
You're supposed to admit who the risk is.
The book is about anti-Semitism, right? So I guess somebody that might be anti-Semitic might target
the left.
Chuck Schumer.
Oh, guys, I love bringing these clips, guys, because it is the truth. It's what's happening. They're falling apart. They can't stand it. If you appreciate this, guys, if you don't mind hitting that thumbs up like button, thank you so much for your support. But again, too, it's getting deeper, guys, deeper, deeper, and deeper. We're going down the rabbit hole of exposing everybody, guys. This is amazing. Check this out.
I was in shock. They talked and said, oh my God, this guy's serious. He cut us off. That's going to have a huge implication. We could be down 30% in revenue. Paul Weiss, you suck. And you're a group of cowards. Your entire professional life, everything you've done. I hope your children look at you and go, Daddy, why are you a coward?
Dang.
You are cowards. Perkins Coie next. Covington Burley next. Break them. Cut them off from all government money, all government funding. They said in the filing, they went to court, we will be bankrupt. This is 90% of our revenue. Yeah, exactly. Trump is so good. And to give the devil his due, the folks around him that have are now in the Justice Department, some of them, the arrest on the outside, magnificent. Not good, magnificent. To put together a pickup team in those years of 21 and 22, and to be ready for the onslaught of 22 and 23, it will go down in history in the legal profession of a change in this country. No quality law firms. When Trump had him in the Oval, said, you, Carp, made sure that no law firm I could retain a law firm. The President of the United States of America, a man that had brought peace and prosperity to this country in his first term. Think about what 2019 was like. Even think of getting us through the pandemic as well as he could. Think about if Biden had been in charge. We'd still be in lockdown. They got corporate America and the big law firms that represent them and the investment banks to try to destroy Donald Trump. Guess what? You didn't destroy him. You did not destroy the people around him. Although you tried, you didn't destroy this movement. We're back bigger than ever. And yes, this is come retribution for the nation. Not personally. Not personally. Trump knows exactly what the problem is. That's where you get to do the pro bono work. This is like the reorganization of the FBI or the Justice Department. This is the public version of what they're doing in the Justice Department to redo it. Because the lawyers do control the country. They're the most ill-equipped people to do it. If you gave me a choice between being governed by the first 100 people that walked into these rallies, one of these a super ballot chase that Scott Pressler and the people in Wisconsin are putting on this weekend. The first 100 people, the first 100 hammerheads that walked in with a red MAGA ball cap versus the top 100 partners in Paul Weiss to run the country. It's not even a question. You pick the MAGA folks. They have more empathy. They know more about life. They have more grit, more determination. It is the essence of what this country is and what has been handed down to us for 250 years. And Paul Weiss is the epitome of the modern version of scumbags. I could do 10 hours on this today and never repeat myself. He broke. And this is the lesson. They all talk tough. What does Mike Tyson say? Everybody's got a strategy. They're all tough because they had strategy. Columbia's got a big strategy. They're going to have a strategy and they're going to hunker down. They're not going to fold to what President Trump wants. Paul Weiss, that guy was calling. They're going to get all these different firms, and like he did before to unite against President Trump. He's going to unite them again, and Paul Weiss is going to be the leader, and they're going to have Perkins Coie and Cunningham Burling and Quinn Emanuel and all of it. They're going to lead a big effort, and they're going to do this, they're going to do this, and then 24 hours later, full frickin' surrender.
Guys, this
we
is
broke
big.
them at the polls in November. They're not that tough. They will break. This is about fragility. This is about resilience. You are resilient. Your human agency makes you resilient. You are tough, handed down in grit and determination. And they are not tough. They are soft. They're whiny. Look at these town halls. They're whiny. They're soft. They're not tough. They're not hard. You want to save this nation. You want to save this republic in this great conflict that we have. There's no compromise. You have to be tough. I cannot be prouder of President Trump. He went right to the heart of the beast, and he cut the heart out and ate it in front of him. Amazing. Short break. Back in a moment.
Guys, let me tell you this. You think I'm getting ready, guys. Who's going to be running for president in 2028? It's going to be Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Who's going to be helping her try to get in there? Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders just came out and has supported Trump outwardly of his border patrol, of his whole border security. Want to say real quick, thank you so much, Charlotte Smith, for the super chat. Let's go. I love it. And also, thank you so much, Chrissy E. said, thank you, Joel. I was a new viewer a month ago, and now I watch every single day. I appreciate the truth. God bless. Keep doing what you're doing. We are here to serve you. God bless y'all. Y'all show Chrissy and Charlotte some love in the chat, everybody. So, Bernie Sanders claiming that nobody thinks illegal immigration is appropriate. Here's Bernie Sanders raising his hand during the 2020 Democratic primaries, saying he'd give illegal aliens taxpayer-funded health insurance. There's the evidence right there, guys. Look at this. Everybody, even Biden. Biden did it, guys, and they voted for this, incentivizing it. Now listen to this. Now listen to the change of tune. Why? Because they want to run for president. Bernie's going to try to help AOC get there, so he's got to help win over moderates and then say, go vote for AOC, who's a super far left progressive. Listen to this. It's a short clip.
Is there anything that you think Trump has done right?
Yeah, I mean, I think cracking down on fentanyl, making sure our borders are stronger. Look, nobody thinks that illegal immigration is appropriate.
Is there anything that...
Y'all hear that? That's the first time that dude's ever said that before. Well, you got to watch them, guys, because they're snakes. They're only saying what they need to say in order to get in office. The only reason, because think about it right now, what you're about to see next, Chuck Schumer's out. This dude is gone. In the next, he's about to be primaried big time. Listen to this. We're about to see a new leader for the Democratic Party in the Senate.
Everyone's so mad at Schumer, the party's putting him on a pip.
This was, to me, so emasculating. It said that the Democrat grassroots are giving Senator Schumer a pip. I mean, this is if anyone's working in a big corporation, it's called a performance improvement program. Like you're a junior, like associate, where they say, okay, you need to start coming in by 9 a.m. and be at your desk by 9:05. I mean, it's embarrassing what's happening to him.
First Nancy knifed Chuck, now Soros is staging a coup. One Soros-funded group's calling him to step down and is hosting a, quote, virtual event in which activists are encouraged to write happy retirement cards to the Brooklyn Democrat.
Wow.
It's too bad considering how many times Chuck had to kiss his ring for cash. Well, what goes around comes around, and the coup karma really stings.
I do think on the leadership question, it's always better to, examine whether folks are in the right place, and we're certainly going to have that conversation. And let me just say, it's important for people to know, when it's time to go.
The socialist wing of the party's rising, and party elders don't know how to handle it. AOC and Bernie are pulling bigger crowds in Arizona than Biden ever did.
Told you guys. Pretty big.
Battling with the normies for party supremacy.
This gives us a chance for them to take another look at the Democratic Party.
Right.
And I hope that we don't, in the stupidity of we got to be the most progressive, self-righteous, moralistic people in the world. That's the way that some of the urbanist elements of our party have tried to come across. And it's stupid, and they ought to apologize to the world for being so goddamn stupid.
Maybe Schumer was right when he said the party was aroused. Because at these town halls, the crowd wants action.
I'm doing my part. I feel let down. There is no fight in the Democratic Party anymore. It's just like, yep, we hear you, we're talking.
You're crazy.
We want action.
I was told that this was going to be a town hall meeting about Medicaid and not a stump speech for the Democratic Party.
So many Democrats feel like their party is silent.
What you're saying is I'm not going to get my way when my people are being slaughtered, and I want you to stop funding them.
If you would like to run for office, run for office.
That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Democrats want fresh blood leading the party, but right now, Tampon's hogging the spotlight, and he's already helped sink one presidential campaign.
Tim Walz is now saying about Trump supporters, and forgive me, I'm just reading a quote from Tim Walz, I think I could kick most of their ass.
Oh boy, he'd be in trouble.
Is there any way to know?
Well, he's a loser, you know, I mean, the guy's a loser. He lost an election. He played a part. You know, usually a vice president doesn't play a part, they say. I think Tim played a part. I think he was so bad that he hurt her.
If Dems don't get their act together, the big guy's coming back. Turns out Joe Biden's bored. He met with the new DNC chair and says he wants to step back into the ring. Quote, former President Joe Biden has told some Democratic leaders he'll raise funds, campaign, and do anything else necessary for Democrats to recover lost ground as the Trump administration rolls back programs the party helped design. And the party said, nah, we're good. Quote, who's going to want Joe Biden back in the game? Said a major Biden supporter. Well, I can think of one person. Hunter. Those paintings aren't going to sell themselves.
Guys, let me tell you this. You know why everything is happening? It's called Trump derangement syndrome. Now it's called Elon Musk derangement syndrome. But this is, all these things are coming up, dude, guys. This is what blows my mind. What you're about to see next. Everything for the Democratic Party is a double standard. It only... I got to show you this. Everything for them is only a double standard, and it's only whenever it meets their agenda that they align with it. Elon Musk posted this and said the New York Times is pure propaganda. We bring the receipts. At the very top, when the New York Times is peddling abortions, they call it a fetus. It's not a baby. It's not a child. It's a fetus. It's not its own. It's not a human. It's not anything. It's just a fetus. When the New York Times is peddling illegal immigration and saying that we need to allow all this to happen, now it's an unborn child. Do you see this propaganda? And not only that, when it comes to what the lies that we've been told by these big that's why I told you the Democratic Party is going to have a renewal. Because of what you're about to see on screen. Everybody knows it was all fraud. All lies. Listen to this.
About what the Obama Justice Department ordered federal lawyers to do and not to do concerning the Hillary Clinton email investigation. Chief Intelligence Correspondent Catherine Herridge tells us in sworn testimony on Capitol Hill, one of the insiders told lawmakers what she was told.
During closed-door testimony last summer, former FBI lawyer Lisa Page said the Obama administration's Justice Department advised the FBI not to pursue the gross negligence statute for Hillary Clinton in the mishandling of classified information. Former U.S. Attorney and House Republican John Radcliffe led the line of questioning about the statute, known as 18 U.S.C. 793. Radcliffe, you're making it sound like it was the department that told you you're not going to charge gross negligence because we're the prosecutors. Page interrupted. That is correct. Page's testimony appears to conflict with then FBI Director James Comey's recommendation in July 2016 against criminal charges for Clinton.
What I can assure the American people is that this investigation was done honestly, competently, and independently. No outside influence of any kind was brought to bear.
The Republican-led House Oversight and Judiciary Committee investigation ended in January. With Democrats now in control, the committee's new ranking Republican made the Page transcript public.
The transcript releases show an inherent two-tier system, one in which Hillary Clinton gets the treatment that she got, where they was actually at first concerned that they were going to charge her, and then with Loretta Lynch in charge, before she recused herself, made it very clear that that was not going to happen.
The tip-off came from a chart drawn up by federal investigators assigned to the Clinton case known as mid-year exam. Fox News has confirmed that the chart listed possible federal statutes for prosecution. Next to gross negligence was a notation, quote, DOJ not willing to charge this. Only known cases are military. Cases when accused lost the information. In response to the Page revelations, the president tweeted the transcripts, quote, make the Obama Justice Department look exactly like it was, a broken and corrupt machine.
That's all it's ever been, guys. It's not just what people are saying or they thought about or they said, oh, this is a possibility. No, it's been corrupt. It's been corrupt for a long time. And now more than ever, because we have truly a freedom of speech platform called X, we are allowed to literally put out everything so everybody can see that it's been a two-tier system for a long time. It's been corrupt for a long time, and it is about dang time that we finally get accountability. If you appreciate this, guys, if you don't mind hitting that thumbs up like button, this is what I love bringing to you, because you're able to see that it's not just about what people have always said. The receipts are coming. Congress is moving. We have leadership that is doing the necessary steps to make things happen. But this Trump derangement syndrome, guys, is getting out of hand. Listen to this.
Action is the host of Ask Dr. Drew on Rumble, Dr. Drew Pinsky. All right, Doc, analyze this for us, because it seems like a lot of people jumping at a lot of shadows.
Well, let's think about it this way. Trump derangement, there's actually a husband and wife psychologists that actually define the syndrome. They use psychometrics to figure out what this thing is. Clearly, it's afflicting some people. And the one feature that was universal in people who were really suffering from this was a sense of external focus of control. In other words, things happen to them, sort of victim. Think about that. And also associated with that is kind of a narcissism. And if you have a narcissistic personality trait, you're going to believe that the world is thinking about you. So your hatred, your panic, your psychotic feelings about President Trump are going to be projected out to the world. The reality is the rest of the world, first of all, mostly already hates us when we travel. They're not super happy with American travelers. And secondarily, at most, whatever I've encountered has been sort of confusion. If they have questions, they're sort of confused. What's going on? It seems like a lot, but there's not hatred.
Yeah, it depends where in the world you go, because a lot of places you go in the world, they love America. I mean, they can't get enough of America.
For sure.
You know, there's places that maybe a lot of people don't go to Lithuania, but they can't survive without us. You go to Romania, they love us. Mm-hmm. And quite frankly, I've been to Mexico since Donald Trump was elected. I didn't have any problem. Nobody gave us any hard time at all. But I do think that you're onto something, that people get externally worried. And it's interesting that you say about the narcissism, oh, they're all thinking about they know what my thoughts are. But what is it that Donald Trump is provoking that maybe other presidents or political figures haven't done?
Yeah, it's hard to say exactly what the features are that he maintains that really triggers this thing. But somehow he pushes right on that button. And it fundamentally underneath this, or let's put it this way, another way of sort of conceptualizing this is yet another mass formation or mass formation psychosis. About 20% of people really become hypnotized by the press. They become hypnotized by their social echo chambers, and they can be persuaded very quickly, that 20%, that they're in danger. They can be hysterical. They can be delusional. And to the extent that Trump derangement syndrome affects functioning, and I would dare say that having trouble traveling is beginning to affect functioning, then it becomes a real disorder. Now, what's underlying it, I would actually say that Trump derangement is sort of a symptom of other disorders, a feature of other disorders. Although, as I said, these two psychologists have characterized it as a real syndrome. It is not in the DSM-5. And I know Minnesota is attempting to legislate it as a syndrome. That will not increase the probability that will show up on a diagnostic manual.
Guys, did you ever think that you would see that Trump derangement syndrome is actually being talked about, classified as a real syndrome that you can be diagnosed and given medication for? Because it just, that's insane, guys, but that's where we're at. That's how polarizing Trump is to people, but it's crazy because it's really just America first. But people are going crazy over this. Want to say thank you so much, Wolf's Watch, for the super chat. First timer, let's go. And thank you so much, Sherry Garcia. I love it. Book 'em, Dano. Let's go. And Wolf's Watch, thank you so much, said Roberts is right, except if a judge interferes by actually usurping Trump's actions by stopping him. first and go to appeals. If the judge thinks there's an issue, they sue for the change, then go to appeals. I know that, like, this is nuts. Y'all show Wolf's Watch and Sherry some love in the chat, guys, because I'm telling you what, it's not going to stop. And what I want is for what you're seeing on the screen, for the Democrats to see. They need to look at the face of this family who lost their grandmother by an illegal immigrant, and those Democrats all need to apologize because this is stupid. This was released by Homeland Security today. President Trump and the Secretary Noem will not allow criminal illegal aliens, including accused murderers, to be loosed on American streets. But an illegal immigrant released by the Biden administration charged with killing Georgia grandmother in a random attack. Guys, when this stuff happens, families are never the same. Things are never the same. This is why we need accountability. This is why we need to get the judges, the courts, Congress in check. Because families are being destroyed by these horrendous crimes. And who the heck is held accountable? That's why I like what I'm about to show you next.
Us about Judge Boasberg's ruling and whether or not the Supreme Court is going to get involved here.
Oh, the Supreme Court will get involved. This is an out-of-control judge, a federal judge trying to control our entire foreign policy, and he cannot do it. You know, he dragged us into court on a Saturday without any notice, and then he's continuing these hearings. He's trying to ask us about national security information, which he is absolutely not entitled to. We are appealing. We will be in court Monday. Again, we will win. We will prevail. There are 261 reasons why Americans are safer today, and that's because those people are now in an El Salvador prison. And we are going to follow the law, and we are going to protect Americans. You know, there's a reason why Biden's approval rating was plummeting because of the border. There's a reason why the current Democrats' approval rating is at 29%. People want to be safe. This is President Trump's agenda to keep Americans safe, Maria. It's basic public safety. Get these people out of our country as fast as we can. They're not immigrants. They're illegal aliens who are committing the most violent crimes you can imagine on Americans. Murder, rapes. You know, ask the parents of all of these young women who have been violently strangled, raped, and murdered. And we are going to continue to make America safe again because that's President Trump's agenda.
Yeah, and we're going to talk with the NYPD commissioner in a few minutes, Jessica Tisch, and I'm going to ask her about the migrant arrests being down and whether or not it's a complete impact from the president taking these people out of the city. Does this mean, though, that we've stopped shipping people out of the country as we await for resolution here from the Judge Boasberg ruling?
Well, we're continuing with the legal process, but we're also continuing to arrest people. We're not going to stop arresting these violent criminals. You know, the Alien Enemies Act applies today really more than ever. You know, old law is often the best law if you think about how the laws that have been on the books for a very long time. We are in modern day warfare. They have invaded our country, TDA, Tren de Agua. They are organized. They have a command structure. They are sending money to each other throughout the country and out of the country back to support their terrorist actions. It's modern day warfare, and we are going to continue to fight that and protect American citizens every single step of the way.
The last time we spoke, AG, you said in the next year, in a couple of years, we will not have what's called a sanctuary city. Are you getting resistance from these cities who say, no, we are a sanctuary for illegals?
Well, sure we are, and we're going to continue to pull their funding. We're going to continue to sue them, and they're going to come around. They're going to have to, because the federal government is going to step in and do the jobs of these cities and states who are refusing to protect their own citizens. I truly cannot comprehend how these states, how these governors want to protect criminals over the rights of their own citizens. These are violent criminals. Crime was through the roof. And now with Donald Trump, it's going to plummet because we're going to get them off the streets if the state governments aren't. So yes, we're going to continue to fight that every step of the way. We will win.
What about these vandals on Tesla vehicles and dealerships? Give us the consequences there.
Guys, if you appreciate this accountability, if you don't mind hitting that thumbs up like button, this is what I'm talking about. This right here, that in a couple years, sanctuary cities and states do not exist. Why? Because it is a direct violation of the federal law, protecting American people and putting America first.
What are you learning once they're arrested? Why are they doing this?
Well, you know, we're looking at so much on this. There have been 3 federal charges so far, and I say so far. We are looking at all of these cases across the country. We have a dedicated task force. These are not isolated incidents, as you know, and these aren't vandals. These are Molotov cocktails. You know, that could be a weapon of mass destruction that they're throwing in Tesla dealerships, that they're lighting these Tesla charging stations on fire that are in residential neighborhoods. I mean, it could cause tremendous damages. And people need to know that 3 people in custody right now, they will receive severe and swift consequences, and they are facing up to 20 years in prison. We are not negotiating these. We are not coming off these charges. We are looking at everything, especially if this is a concerted effort. This is domestic terrorism. And Maria, now you have this Congresswoman Crockett who is calling for attacks on Elon Musk on her birthday. Let's take him out on my birthday, she says. Yet she turns and says, oh, I'm not calling for violence. Well, she is an elected public official. And so she needs to tread very carefully because nothing will happen to Elon Musk. And we're going to fight to protect all of the Tesla owners throughout this country, and it's this basic safety. Once again, domestic terrorism is going to come to a stop in our country.
Well, it's just extraordinary to me that you've got this resistance coming back. We saw the resistance in President Trump's first term.
Guys, and what I want to show you is like they know the resistance is there, but guess what, guys? We bring you the receipts. We show you what the heck is actually going on behind the scenes. So the FBI director, Kash Patel, is acting ATF boss. Kash Patel is reportedly shifting up to 1,000 ATF agents, over a third of the agency, into the FBI. Check this out. They are moving people around. They're going to use them for all types of things because this, I hope, like guys, this is a hypothetical, but don't you think that they showed that there was terrorists and people that came through the border illegally. We know that. Do you not think that there's people out there that want to try to take Elon or Donald Trump out that wouldn't pay somebody to do something like that? You have to be I always tell people, don't be naive. If it can happen, it probably is going to happen. But you got to try to protect, and you got to make sure that the Secret Service and everybody is involved is always on top notch. Because that's why he put Kash Patel in place, to protect them. Because, guys, what you're about to hear next is the details of why they're hating Trump so bad and his cabinet, is because what Trump is about to do next is going to solidify the MAGA party in such a way that I'm telling you, if this all goes through in the next 2 years, no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime, anybody making under $150,000 a year doesn't even pay federal income tax. They want to take him out so bad because they know that if that happens, we have it pretty much in the bag the next 2, possibly 3 elections. That's how powerful these policies are. And listen to this, because this is the details of when it's going to happen.
Right? And what you find is if nobody ever, like as in ever, like I could say the word ever 12 times, has looked at where the money goes.
Totally.
And so there's not even a process to get it back when you send it to the wrong person.
Totally.
You just send another one out.
Yeah.
Like, think about it. You just Well, I sent it accidentally. Accidentally. Notice how it's accidental.
Right.
It's always accidentally sent to the wrong person. Really.
He's talking about the Treasury. So think about it. If they send out a check from the Treasury, send money to somebody, they don't even have a way of getting it back. It's just gone. And then they have to send more money to the next person to do it right. Like, that's how broken our systems are.
You wouldn't ever say the 5.9 million people who work for the government, there could be some crooks in there.
Right.
No. It's all accidental. What a load of nonsense this is.
There's some percentage of this.
But you would say.
Yeah.
And you would say.
No, just zero base it and let's figure out where
it's got to be 25%.
Yeah.
We'd all say if it's never been checked, how could it not be 25%?
Right.
How could it not be?
Right.
And the answer is that's $1 trillion a year.
Right.
Okay? So I said, I think we're going to cut $1 trillion a year in expense. And then I think we can, through tariffs and other means, we're going to get revenues of $1 trillion. Okay?
Incremental revenue.
Incremental revenue.
Yeah.
And we're going to balance the budget.
But sorry, let me just ask one question. How did the tax cuts or the extension of the tax cuts?
There is zero basis. I mean,
Zero basis.
where I was yesterday and where I am tomorrow, like, it's a tax cut. No, it's not. It's the exact same thing as yesterday as today. To say continuing yesterday tomorrow is like silly.
So let me ask you on tariffs. Having studied it yourself, when there's higher tariffs, people purchase less, things cost more.
No, we'll talk about tariffs.
Yeah.
Let's just finish. Let's just finish Doge. So I'm in the car with him, right? And I said, we're going to balance the budget. And I said, but I have one favor to ask of you. If we can balance the budget for you, will you agree to waive all income tax for every person who makes less than $150,000 a year in the United States of America? Woo! It's about 85% of America.
Right.
And the reason you want to work for Donald Trump is he looks at me and goes, sure. Like, you realize the President of the United States said, if you balance the budget, sure. And he's not lying. He's not kidding. He's like, yeah, that seems like a great idea.
Seems reasonable.
Right? And then I tell him, okay, I'm going to go recruit Elon. Because Elon's all in.
Yeah.
Right? He's already said he's all in.
Yes.
He's already said he's going to Pennsylvania.
Yes.
Right? So I call Elon, and I don't know Elon. I don't know, but he's perfect for this. So I use my superpower, which is I call everybody else I know who knows him, and they arrange. And I'm texting with him, and he agrees to meet me on October 14th. So I fly down to Brownsville, Texas. He's going to catch the rocket on October 14th. Right. So that's what he invites me down for the rocket catch.
That's right.
He's not inviting me for the rocket catch. He's just inviting me down that's a good day for me to meet him. So I fly down, I see the rocket catch, which is awesome.
Yeah. Right.
Awesome. And then I expect to meet him.
By the way, very pivotal day in the campaign. If you remember, Biden sort of didn't pay as much attention to it. Trump was pretty engaged. Elon was supportive of Trump. So when he actually caught the rocket, the media was almost like frozen, waiting for it to fail. And it didn't fail, and it worked. And it was this incredible
I
moment in the
was
campaign.
waiting for Elon. Okay, so I flew down to see Elon, and with my son, and so we watched the rocket, right? And then they say, okay, he's going to go hang out with his engineers and party with them. Seems reasonable. It's like an hour and a half, and then he just goes dark.
You're still waiting.
I'm just sitting there waiting, and then they take me, and I go to like the equivalent of a Margaritaville. You know, where you have like a basket and you can get quesadillas and you get a Diet Coke in a red sort of plastic thing that's about this tall. It's like I got 4,000 ounces of Diet Coke in it that comes in this big.
Love that.
But now, to his credit, he sends me all the executives from SpaceX are hanging with me.
Yeah.
But he's dark. And what happened is he took a nap. He was up all night doing the engineering and he went to sleep. So then when he finally wakes up, so I'm just sitting there like, doing the. Like, I don't know him really. So I'm just doing the thumb twiddle. I'm going, okay, this guy's.
You had a couple quesadillas.
I'm hoping he sees me, right?
Yeah.
So then he wakes up, he says, come to my house. Right? I'll see you in my house. So his house is 1,200 square feet. It's got the furniture in it that I had when I graduated from college.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay? I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding.
We know.
It's 1,200 square feet, and it's got the furniture, plastic chairs, and okay. So I say, we're going to balance the budget. I need to cut $1 trillion. He's like, I'm in. He says, I think we should cut 80% of the federal.
Guys, I hope that you realize who he was talking about was Elon Musk, the richest man in the world, living in a 1,200 square foot house with metal chairs, just living like a college student. Like, guys, this is what I love. This is a person who's like, he's so much past trying to live a crazy luxury lifestyle and has to have mansions. No, he's like, I just have whatever I need. This is what I need. It's good enough.
Government, because the essential employees, if the government shut down, essential employees are 450,000.
Yeah. Okay.
And there's 5.9 million people who work for the government.
Yeah.
How can 450,000 be essential and there's 5.9 million? So he says, like Twitter, I think we should cut 80%.
Yeah.
And I say, I know how to cut 50. And he says, I want to cut 80. I said, I know how to do 50. He goes, are you with me or against me? I go, I know how to legally do it. What do you have? And my son says it was like two alpha dogs just like fighting with each other for the first half hour. So then X comes in, right? And then he's got to walk his son X out. So he walks his son X out. And I'm thinking maybe the meeting's over, right? Because we've been together a half hour, 40 minutes, and maybe it's over. Because he got up and he walked out, he comes back, and he sits down, he goes, Howard, this meeting is, right? That's what he says. He goes, this meeting is, and we sit down and we map out the plan. I tell him what a gratis vendor is.
Yeah.
Because I was not going to go into the government. I was doing transition.
What is a gratis vendor?
A gratis vendor is an approved vendor for the United States of America that gives product to the government, doesn't sell it.
Okay.
So therefore, I don't have to go through the whole process of becoming a proper vendor because you're giving it to us. And then if you give it to Article 2, which is the president's stuff, then the president can accept it, right? Because it's give.
Sorry, Howard, what's an example of this? Like just to make
I write some software.
You write some software.
I write some software for the Commerce Department to do a better job of XYZ. You just give it to me. And then I do QA on it, and I can take it. If you sell it to me for $1, we go into government hell.
Right, the whole rigmarole.
Right, but if you give it to me, right, and then I set up, so I said I'm calling it Doge.
Guys, let me tell you this. I hope you appreciate this, guys, because again, it's all about the transparency. It's all about Trump wants there to be so much transparency that the news has no way to create false narratives. Now, it's still doing that, but he's doing such a good job with every one of his team members in making sure that everybody knows exactly what the heck is happening. Look at this. This is talking to the Democrats. You are okay with 86,000 agents hired to audit you, but you're mad about 40 Doge employees hired to audit the people stealing your tax dollars. That's what it's about right now, guys. We are living in some crazy times. But what I love is that the American people are winning. I want to say thank you to everybody who is watching, to all of our subscribers. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. And if you don't mind clicking that thumbs up like button, guys, y'all are the best. I want to give some love again to, remember, yesterday we did our donation live on stream. At the end of the video, we gave, guys, literally, we gave $2,100 because of you. Your support, and it's so amazing because it's like, I never imagined this. But I want to keep it growing, guys. I want us to have 1 million subscribers one day. I want us to be donating hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. A month, guys, to charities, making positive change, making sure that we are bringing forth good change in this world. And I want to give some love to our members. If you want to be a member, the link is in the description to join. And remember, we take these memberships, we take your super chats, and we donate them to charity. And the memberships start out at 99 cents, guys. That's where I wanted to make it so that I'm focused more on numbers. The more people we have, somebody giving 99 cents is not really that big of a deal. But when you add it all together, it can do a lot of good. And thank you to everybody that's given a super chat donation. I want to give some love to Jenny Lynn, Leigh Lewis, Charlotte Smith, Chrissy E, Wolf's Watch, and Sherry Garcia. Guys, show them some love in the chat. Y'all are amazing. Thank you so much for your support. Remember, we're here to serve you Monday through Friday, 2 shows a day, 1 on Saturday, 1 on Sunday. From me and my family, we love you. We appreciate you. We'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.